Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Hi, I'm John Mallos. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV. On this day, we're going to be talking about the drought. We have a special guest in our studio today to talk about the ramifications of the, well, no water coming down from the sky, no snow in the mountains. I shouldn't say no, very little, and it's providing us with very little drinking water and water for the farmers here in the valley. Phone calls 436 MeTV option 11. Back in just a moment. Got to be careful when you say no water, because we still have water here. But remember, when you turn that tap water on and you turn the shower on, that water's got to come from somewhere. So I think the days of taking a 30-minute shower, 45 minutes in the shower, those days are long gone. Because remember, you got water meters here in the city of Fresno. They're going to be watching you, and water rates could be going up. But remember, even when you turn the tap water on, say to brush your teeth, maybe take a shave, or you're cooking something, be careful. Just don't leave the water just running and walk away, because that water is coming from somewhere. I'll show you where most of it comes from. Let's roll a videotape and I'll show you what I'm talking about in this drought year. My goodness gracious. Take a look at this video from high above. This is a shocking view of Millerton Lake. Only 43% capacity as of last month. Might be less by now. All thanks to little rainfall. In fact, a huge mound in the middle of the lake is normally only visible by a few feet. That's the mound there. But as you can see, it's fully exposed. And a lot more of the lake bottom is also more visible. A rare sight indeed, and has a lot of people worried, mostly farmers. Many of the small towns surrounding Fresno could be left completely dry. Also, places like Pine Flat are as low as 17% capacity. Water levels haven't been this low in years. Amazing when you consider just a couple of years ago, it rained so much the water was flowing over the Friant Dam, yet it flowed right into the Pacific, all thanks to the Endangered Species Act, which protects wildlife such as the valley smelt. Yesterday, by the way, one state water official indicated there might be a chance that farmers will be given water out of the San Joaquin River, so the zero allocation may be some allocation. We don't know yet. Live in our studio right now is Manuel Cunha. He is the president of the Farmers League. He met with the president last month during his visit here to the Central Valley. In fact, it was President Obama's first visit here to the city of Fresno. We'll talk to Manuel about what he spoke to the president about and what this drought means to you and me. If you want to call in, ask a question, 436 MeTV option 11. Do turn down the sound. Call in. We've got the man of the hour, our guy, Manuel Cunha, here on Connect with Me. Back in just a moment.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Whirlpool appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Touch the new Whirlpool Ice Collection. It offers a modern style made to create an inspiring kitchen experience. Save big on this Whirlpool Black Ice or White Ice kitchen. Come into Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
I mean, I used to be one of those ones. I was guilty, when I shaved, just leave the water running. Right, Manuel?
Yes.
Yes. Not anymore. No 30-minute showers, man. I'm 5 minutes and I'm in, out, gone.
I think that's more people are realizing the importance of that today. I think people thought just because you open the tap, as you stated earlier today, it's there to keep running. No, you've got to change your behaviors.
No.
You've got to change your. The farmers have put in drip irrigation and have gone from flood irrigation to drip irrigation, so they're changing their ways as well.
By the way, I want to officially welcome you to Connect with Me. Your first appearance here. It's good to see you again. It's been a while. Been a while.
Yes, it has been a while.
Yeah. So just getting off the subject, how you been?
I've been good. Very good. Very busy.
Yeah. You went to D.C. recently. Okay, talk about the trip and what you accomplished there and what the purpose of the visit was.
The purpose of the visit was twofold, was to communicate and keep work on getting an immigration bill done this year. The second part of the visit was to follow up with the issues taking place in this valley and in the state on workers losing their jobs because of the drought.
Yeah.
And how to deal with that with the Department of Labor, but also to deal with issues revolved around human trafficking that we see a lot when people lose their jobs in this valley and other parts. They now become sort of victim by the human trafficking people.
Yes.
To where they do and are apprehended in a sense to do things. That's a big
problem, isn't it?
And it's a huge problem.
Yeah. Now, who did you meet with in D.C.?
I met with, I will say, with head of officials within the agencies, within Homeland Security, and within USDA, and with some congressional leaders that we were asked to come back there and to move on this issue because the president and the governor of California had great concerns, but especially Secretary of Agriculture, Tom Vilsack, and the governor spoke as we were in the meeting with the president just before he arrived, was we were talking about these issues of human trafficking and the loss of jobs of what it's causing. So I was asked to head back to D.C. to discuss this more in depth of what's really happening and the impacts.
With Homeland Security and other officials there.
Yes.
Did you make any headway?
I think so. I think folks didn't realize that people that have document problems become victimized by the bad. And they didn't realize that that was really happening in our society today. And we focused and gave some real examples of when actually those things have happened in this valley.
But the human trafficking is not directly related to the drought, is it? Or it might be?
Yeah, it started in 2009. It actually did when we had the first big drought.
So it is directly or indirectly related?
It's directly becoming a part when people lose their jobs.
Right.
From this case, even now, they have no employment. They got nothing. So they become an employee of the human trafficker. They come after these folks to have them do the marijuana issues or other drug issues that the worker doesn't really understand what he or she has just got involved in.
Right.
And once they get involved in it, then it's pretty much...
It's over.
It's over. It's over because your life is no longer... And they have and control certain family members, so you have to do these things.
Right.
And those people are looking for work. They have to feed their families.
Yeah.
Provide food on the table.
So when the drought hits and the legitimate farming jobs go by the wayside for some of these people, now they become involved, unbeknownst to them, in illegal activities such as marijuana grows or other drug issues, right?
Absolutely. That's absolutely. Sheriff Margaret Mims, our sheriff in the county, has worked very hard and is greatly concerned about this. And she's gone back to the White House several times to meet with the president on the issues tied to immigration, but also tied to
the drought.
The drought tied to when loss of jobs. Here's
and many
what
of these
happens.
they don't speak English, so they're not fully understanding what they're getting involved with, right?
Absolutely.
Many of these are immigrants.
Many of these are immigrants here that have been here for 15, 20 years, 10 years, and don't understand when they're offered these type of things when they've lost their jobs because the farmer can't hire them because there's no water to grow the crop.
There's no work.
There's no work. So they're looking for work. We are trying to find work, but when you don't, there's this human trafficker out there that is focused on these people, and they start to employ them, and we have a huge issue.
Yeah, it's a major problem. I don't know how you solve that. I guess law enforcement's got to get involved. Homeland Security, like you say, you got involved with. But so let me ask you about when you look at Millerton, and you saw the video there.
Yes.
Very low. It's 43% capacity. Do you blame that on lack of storage, the Endangered Species Act, people wanting to preserve our levees and all these endangered species such as the smelt? Is that what it's blamed on? Can we look at that issue and talk about that for a minute?
Yes, I think you've hit on three major big areas. The first is if you took Millerton Dam and you take Pine Flat Dam, or you even take Shasta, you look at those major storage, and you look at San Luis Reservoir. That was the last dam built, a major storage, and our population has grown. We've had a human population increase of double. Farming has been reducing its land size, but it's been producing more, okay? But we've also had a huge increase on endangered species, of species taking more water than they've ever have, and no one ever compensated for that issue. So when you look at Millerton, very low, that what we have failed over the past 20 years.
Failed in storing water?
In storing water. And looking at development of new storage facilities in this state to accommodate the needs. If it's all three needs, okay, then we should have been focusing on that rather than taking what we have for farmers and from cities, and we've now put it into the Environmental Endangered Species
Can
Act.
we store water for the future, yet satisfy the environmentalists?
Yes, if we build storage. If we build, for example, Temperance Flat above Millerton, that's 1 million acre feet reservoir. That would help also deal with that part of the act.
We're going to talk about Temperance Flat in a moment here, but we got to take a break. 436 MeTV option 11 if you want to join the conversation. Manuel Cunha is here talking about the drought. We're going to talk to him also about his visit with the president when he arrived here. Actually, it was on Valentine's Day, believe it or not. We're back in just a moment. Remember, the call in if you want, 436 MeTV option 11.
1 Adam 12.
This is Adam 12. It stars Martin Milner as Officer Pete Malloy, Kent McCord as Officer Jim Reed.
1 Adam 12, roger.
This black and white patrol car has an overhead valve V8 engine. It develops 325 horsepower at 4,800 RPMs. It accelerates from 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. It has a top speed of 120 miles an hour. The automobile has 2 shotgun racks, one attached to the bottom portion of the front seat, one in the vehicle trunk.
You want me to drive?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Back here talking with Manuel Cunha. He met with the president. He recently just came back from Washington, D.C. He was back there last week. Cold temperatures, 5 degrees?
Yes, very cold and a lot of snow.
Yeah, I wish we had a lot of snow here to talk about.
Yes.
You mentioned Temperance Flat. Now, this is a controversial plan, and I do want to take you to the videotape. Let's roll that tape of Temperance Flat because I want the viewers at home to understand what this thing is all about. There it is right there. Temperance Flat Dam is a proposed dam project on the San Joaquin River west of Auberry. The dam's main purpose would be to supply storage capacity in the upper San Joaquin Basin. Under the current proposal, Temperance would slightly be more than double the water storage of the San Joaquin River. But as mentioned, Manuel, look at this. It's a controversial project. Why? Because why?
Well, a week ago, the Bureau of Reclamation released a document stating that Temperance would be feasibly economically to be built. That's the first Bureau report we've had on a storage facility. It was
takes a drought to get that?
I guess it takes a president to come out and a drought, which is sad. Which is sad. Temperance Flat is a perfect place for a second dam for storage of 1 million acre feet. It also would provide power. Okay, so it will provide the necessary needs, I think, to help in the wet years to preserve that water. And when we have these times in which droughts occur, we would then have the feasibility of water to help with the environmental side, with the city side, and definitely for the business side of agriculture and other businesses that need water.
See, those on the far right say, look, we got to store water, forget the environmental wackos, they're crazy. The people on the far left say, no, we have to protect the environment. But you're saying to me today and our viewers, there is some place in the middle here. We can satisfy this group, we can satisfy that group, and everybody can get a piece of the pie.
It's a win-win. If we don't build more storage, it will not be a win-win for anybody.
Yeah.
And it'll be a water war between jobs and human lives versus the environment. And at that becomes a wreck for everybody. So storage is going to have to be a must with this administration in California with Brown, and it's going to have to be a movement by the federal government, along with our legislators, but also with the Secretary of Agriculture involved in this. And those storages have to be strategically located in the state. If we build Shasta up more, that would be a benefit even more.
What are the chances of getting a temperance flat?
Well, being that we got the Bureau report, I think that's going to be an important part of what we put on the November ballot for the water bond of this state. Because in there, we're asking for like $3.5 billion to be put in for storage. So if we can get that on the bond, that would be a positive step in a second victory for us, because we've got the Bureau saying temperance is viable.
Would you think that the environmentalists would fight that?
Oh, they're going to fight if you built a storage out on the 99 freeway. Okay, because of some critter out there. They're going to fight everything. They don't believe.
But how? But by building temperance flat, how is that going to hurt the environment?
Well, they believe that it would change some critter probably way up of the dam of building this, or disturbing some birdhouse that may be nesting in that area.
Right.
And that has to stop. They have to realize that they're not going to get rid of the human race, and they're going to have to understand if they either work with us or they're going to be, at the end of the day, a loss.
Here's a call coming in. Good morning, you're on Connect with Me. Your question?
Yes, I don't see how Temperance Flat is really going to do much to help with water storage. And an example of that is when you look at Hoover Dam on the Colorado River, and then above that, the Lake Mead Dam. You see those two reservoirs at this time are at their lowest that they've ever been in the past century that they've ever been built. So, a drought is a drought no matter what, and if you don't have water to store, you're still going to have those same problems. And in this case, you're going to have you have those federal the judge that says you have to maintain the San Joaquin River, which means that Temperance Flat will have to feed the reservoir at the lower dam in order to at Friant in order to maintain the San Joaquin River. So you're still not going to maintain that water capacity that the farmers want.
The Bureau of Reclamation just released that the San Joaquin court order has nothing and will not impact Temperance. Temperance will not impact it at all. And in California, we have to build more than just one storage to meet the needs of all. And that includes Shasta, that includes sites, that includes Pine Flat Dam, that includes Temperance in other areas. Los Angeles has built their system, and they have water, and they've preserved that water. So in the wet years, we need to store. If you have only 1 million acres already in Pine in Millerton, but we add another million, now we've got 2 million acre feet behind those concrete structures that will help and benefit all, not just one side of the issue. But the Bureau clearly said that nothing will impact the San Joaquin Valley project or the court order that was done with the San Joaquin on the salmon thing. It would have no impact.
So as I understand it, if Temperance was ever built, to its full capacity, the theory would be that you don't use it unless you need it.
Exactly.
Leave it sit until we get into an emergency situation like we're in now.
Absolutely correct, John.
Okay.
Exactly. You hit it right on.
I mean, is that the whole idea?
That's the whole idea. Save it. When you need it, you got it. You don't waste it when you don't. You just keep saving it, and you let so much out to keep the water going down the San Joaquin, or if it's in Shasta coming down the American River, the Sacramento through the Delta, fantastic. Or if it's Pine Flat Dam through the Kings River.
Yeah, but what I find really amazing is Hetch Hetchy, which provides the Bay Area with water. You notice they're not down. They're not worried about the Endangered Species Act because it's Bay Area politics in a way. That's what I've heard a lot of people say. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, there's a lot of politics in that one. Absolutely. And I think we need to step up and protect our agriculture industry in this state, in this valley.
I agree.
It's the number one. And
another call coming in. Good morning. You're on with Manuel Cunha. Your question.
Question is, well, your guest mentioned that there's a possibility that Temperance would generate electricity. Well, is PG&E going to be involved in this? Who's going to be the lead agency? Is it going to be a utility-type project that has water storage as a byproduct, or is it the other way around, water storage and then electricity as a byproduct? Because, geez, PG&E could certainly do the heavy lifting on this, and in these dire economic times, utilities have deeper pockets, it seems, than federal bureaus. There's your question.
Thank you.
Well, the response will be up. It'll be up for grabs. And anytime you can do water power, the cheapest source of power, the cleanest source of power, we need to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And so let those projects fall out as they are by those agencies or businesses, whatever that is.
All right. Now, let's roll a videotape of the president coming in. I know we got to take a break. We're running a little bit long, but I want to get into this just real quick. He arrived in Fresno. There's Air Force One coming into, of course, Fresno Yosemite International Airport. This was on Friday, February the 14th. It was Valentine's Day. There's no question about it. Of course, Jim Costa was on board along with Barbara Boxer, Dianne Feinstein. There's the president coming off the plane. Costa's right behind him. Hey, no Devin Nunes, no David Valadao, though. They're two Republicans. Obviously, they were not invited to come along on this trip on Air Force One. Coming down the ramp, he was greeted by the mayor, Ashley Swearingen. And later in the day, he toured one of the farms on the west side, and he also met with our guest, Manuel Cunha. And there he is shaking the hand of Ashley Swearingen there. So what did you get out of the meeting from the president? Was it just, a lot of people are saying, okay, look, he showed up, it was in jest, it was a photo op, nothing happened, he offered some money, and then he left.
Well, I saw it in some different...
You saw it firsthand.
Yeah, I saw it firsthand, and I think the meeting with the Secretary Tom Vilsack and the governor in the room before the president got there, that 45 minutes was very valuable.
What did the president say to you, and what did you say to him in response?
Well, I had an opportunity to talk to the president when one-on-one when we shook hands.
Amazing.
And
wow. How was that?
Well, my whole thing there was to shake his hand and say thank you to working and getting comprehensive immigration done.
Did you take a selfie?
No, you didn't. No.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
And in doing that was to emphasize to the president that we had to deal with human trafficking. Yeah. That was my comment to the president.
And he said?
And the president said to me is we've got to work on comprehensive immigration reform and get it done. Because if you can resolve that, you deal then with those people that don't have documents. Now they have documents, so they don't become victimized as they become without documents.
Did he say what he's willing to do?
No.
Because Congress has to act.
Right. The amount of 30 seconds, 25 seconds I had with him.
Yeah.
But after the president was done speaking, a group of us got together with him of ag leaders that were there, Paul Winger, Tom Nassif, Barry Bidwell, and myself, including Arturo Rodriguez. And he did mention to the five of us that comprehensive is important, and your congressmen are very important. And he said, including Kevin McCarthy, will be a very important player in getting comprehensive immigration done this year.
Well, Nunes has to play a part in it.
Yes.
As does Valadao. You got to throw Costa, and of course it's got to pass the Senate with Boxer and Feinstein and all the rest.
Right. We have one in the Senate already waiting,
right.
And the purpose would be to get the one from the House
to
go to conference, and then they work them both together. Congressman Valadao, of course, supporting immigration reform, and Congressman Devin Nunes also. But the key was on talking about Kevin McCarthy. He is the ranking majority leader.
Right.
And
McCarthy is the key.
The key, because he will bring a lot of folks with him.
Right.
So the president definitely made that point to us in visualizing and working with the congressman.
We got to take a break. I want to continue with your conversation with the President of the United States, President Barack Obama. We're talking with Manuel Cunha, who had a one-on-one audience with the president for at least a minute or so. Hey, that's not bad. It's more than you and I got, right? Anyway, we're going to continue with our program and get some insight. 436 MeTV, option 11. Back in a moment.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, And now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Talking with Manuel Cunha with the issue of the drought and meeting with the president. Do you think the president understands our issues here in the Central Valley? Because I've heard people say, I've even read commentaries and editorials saying, you know, this guy's from Chicago. What does he know about the Central Valley and farming? He's never even been here before. What sense did you get from him?
Well,
does he understand?
Yeah, John, I think he brought up some issues, you know, of climate change. Okay, fine, climate change is what it is. Okay, you believe that? That's great. But I think some of the key points that he brought out is that we need to develop storage in this state.
Does he agree that we need storage?
Yes, he said that we have to have storage, and that means we need to have funding for that, both on the state side and the federal side.
Is he willing to back it if Congress backs it?
I would say yes. In his comment, I think he would back funding for development of projects of storages. I believe so. I in his response to that, I would say yes.
Give us a little more insight to the conversation that went on with the president.
He definitely focused on the climate change issues. He focused on the farmers, the needs. Focused on the issue when we had a farm worker who actually spoke about the drought causing damage to him and his family and other farm workers, and businesses. He got that. And he did offer and provide some assistance in funding to help deal with the food for these folks in these areas of need, because of their status. Also to help and assist them in their rent when they cannot find jobs, when the amount of land that's going out and the amount of work that is available, there isn't enough agriculture then to provide and take those workers. In some cases we'll be able to use, but we've got to keep these workers here. And I think the president understood that. Some of the funding was to help farmers. And we need to follow up with that to make sure that those dollars are going to be helping farmers right now, such as assistance in well maintenance, in lowering of their wells because of some problems, assistance in piping water from one point to another that the farmers have let their land go dry so that they can irrigate a permanent crop versus a vegetable crop.
He pledged $100 million to the ranchers, $20 million to the cities to help out with the drought. Was that enough? Or should we have gotten more?
I think that's a start, let's put it that way.
Okay.
And I think the state's part of the governor committing some $564 million or something of that type will also help. I think at the end of the day, farmers are pretty dedicated people, and they would rather not take any type of federal funds or with strings attached to them.
Yeah.
But when we can help a farmer or farm workers, we need to try to do that to keep them both alive.
Clarify 2 statements the president made, and he said that water contractors need to be given flexibility and federal facilities need to curb water use. Now, what does that mean?
Well, I think federal agencies need to be more responsible than just dumping water into the ocean.
Yeah, like they've been doing.
Like they've been doing, rather than taking whatever excess is to keep the salt intrusion out of the delta, and let's put that in these reservoirs. Don't let it go out like they were doing. There was some 380,000 acre feet during that last big storm, not this
Isn't that
one.
Crazy?
That was dumb. And how those agencies, so even the Secretary of Agriculture said our state Bureau of Reclamation needs to be working with the State Water Board, just like the Water Board last week. Staff were announcing they were going to take all the water.
We got about a minute left, so quickly, in 10 seconds, his visit was not a waste.
No, I don't think so. I think coming here brought the issue nationwide and brought it to legislators to see the importance that we need to work in this state and other states that have these problems.
And quickly, yesterday we got indication that there may not be zero allocation for farmers from the feds this year. We may get some allocation, right?
We might, as long as the state doesn't try to grab the federal water and put it into the cities only and take it away from farmers.
Better than 50% chance that's going to happen?
Well, we're going to fight every inch of the way and not let it happen. We're going to make sure the farmers get their water share and the cities get their part.
All right, I don't want to get cut off. We're out of time, but would you come back?
Yes, I would be happy to. Thank you so much.
We're pleased to have you here. It's our pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for your time. Manuel Cunha, our guest today, he knows the ins and the outs, and he met firsthand with the President of the United States of America. That's going to do it for this show on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. Have a good one. We'll see you next time here on MeTV Fresno.
Do you like me?
Just like me.
Like MeTV Fresno on Facebook. Get the latest news, interact with others, watch videos, become a fan of me. Exclusively brought to you by Ventura TV.